It's a great icebreaker. It's a great start for the conversation.
I also want to mention something that you said there, which I always advise to people when they're moving to new countries to take a dive into the popular culture, and especially if it comes to things like watching movies and series from a specific country. Because just as an example, if you're gonna watch one Italian movie, you're gonna see one Italian movie, but Italy is very different from the north to the south. So if you see, and then you can make the wrong assumption about the culture because that movie might be set in Sicily, which is south, or Napoli, and then all of a sudden you think that's entirety of the culture, which is not true because in the north it's a very different culture, and that goes for all culture that are very big and widespread. That inside of a country, the thing is very different depending on where you live and where you come from locally. So always look at movies and think that it's not it could be a representation of real life, but also put it into the context where they actually is set, which city is set in and everything. Because if you use movies, popular culture to get an impression of a country, you have to know where it's from. I also just want to mention about music. You can learn a lot from listening to the music, the emotions in music about the people. Like in Portugal, they have the fado. Now, the fado is very emotional. It says a lot about the culture there, the generation that sort of grew up in that atmosphere, and it sort of gives you an impression of how the country feels, right? You have uh, the music from Mexico or South America, a lot of rhythms and all that, so it sets the tone. So I think it's a very fascinating tips again, Kristina. Thank you.
Of course, and I think you're giving us a great take that could easily be related to people as well. Some of my clients come to me and say, well, I'm about to take a position in Brazil, and I earlier worked a lot with Brazilian medical professionals, for example, doctors in their 50s, and they were all males. But I'm going to join a new company, which is all about trade and commerce, and this time I'm going to work with a mixed gender team, and they're all going to come from different generations. And I always warn my clients that you should definitely not rely on the experience, on the homogeneous experience that you've had within your previous encounters with the colleagues from this country, especially considering that now it's going to be a mixed team. So it's the same thing, like do not rely on the experience of one specific person or two specific people if you want to build a picture of a very multifaceted culture. And pretty much every culture is multifaceted, even if we talk about mono-ethnic cultures, which are very rare actually.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. And I think just topping on to that, one more little hint is it's a great icebreaker. It's a great start for the conversation with a new team. If you're, for example, moving to, let's say, Canada, and you would like to learn more about this country and you want to watch Canadian movies, listen to Canadian music, watch Canadian TV shows, and you don't know where to start, or the research on the internet gives you very numerous options and you're lost between them, it's a great option to ask your colleagues from your future team to say, what are your best recommendations? Where do you suggest that I start? Or go to an expat group on Facebook, for example, and say, what did you guys watch and what did you listen to when you came? What was your favorite pick? And this can also help you start a good conversation, right?
Absolutely.